Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Inside Scoop. I am Sam Beveridge, Customer Risk Manager with Ardent Mills Solutions. As 2018 comes to an end, the USDA came out with their December 11th report that addresses the current situation of supply and demand estimates for the US and the world. With no dramatic changes to the data, stats will continue to shape the trade and give analysts something to talk about going into 2019. Starting with wheat, we saw Russian exports higher due to higher revised carry-in stocks. In Australia, they cut the wheat crop to 17 million metric tons. And here in the United States, the USDA reduced the wheat exports by 25 million, while increasing ending supplies 25 million bushels to give us a net 974 million in total. What could this mean for our wheat markets? We will take a deeper look when we return. Hello and welcome back. If you recall from last month, we were dealing with ever-changing weather, increased yields in corn and soybeans, and a curiosity around the outcome of Chinese trade wars and how they would affect the market. As of today, we continue to monitor these same inputs as we now see a closed planting window for U.S. hard wheat acres, corn and soybean harvest has all but wrapped up, and we are still trying to understand what a 90-day truce could mean to these markets. Will the Trump administration come to an agreement with Chinese President Xi? Will this spark grain sales from the U.S. to China? These are all important things to continue to monitor. Focusing on wheat, the USDA made only minor revisions to their supply and demand. As we said earlier, Russian exports were raised 1.5 million tons to 36.5 million tons. Australia saw further cuts in production that is now at 17 million tons, with many analysts expecting that number to truly be 15.8 to 16.5. The situation continues to get tight as their wheat exports are on pace for 10.5 million tons. In the United States, exports saw a haircut of 25 million bushels. Markets remain firm as the world's supplies are tight. Russian exports are coming to an end, and the availability is becoming harder to come by. In the end, the U.S. becomes the export of last resort for this market in the first half of 2019. Turbulent futures should highlight the wheat trade as we move ahead. Turning to corn, the December 11th supply and demand in corn increased the U.S. stocks to 1.78 billion bushels due to a lower ethanol grind, along with increases in production for Ukraine and Europe. South American production is starting to pencil in for next year with forecasts of 94.5 million tons for Brazil and 42.5 million tons for Argentina. Overall, we would call the report neutral to bearish on corn based on overall carryout and yields. Now, looking at soybeans. They were also a bit uneventful in this report, as the U.S. balance sheet was left unchanged, and many analysts think that we could be in a wait-and-see situation as the outcome of last week's G20 agreement could bring back Chinese demand for U.S. beans. In the meantime, like corn, soybeans in South America look to be on a record pace to produce 120 million metric tons. This is a big number and could play a part in resolving the trade war. Beans remain neutral until we find some direction based on the Chinese trade wars. In closing, you can see the report contained few surprises, with the USDA looking ahead at the aftermath of the G20 trade truce and possible larger scale adjustments that they can make in the January 2019 report. This will give us a better look at the United States' final estimates for the 2018 corn and soybeans, as well as the December 1st stocks reports. We will also take an updated look at the U.S. and world supply and demand forecasts for 2018 and 2019. And finally, it will be our first look at the 2019 U.S. winter wheat seedings. That's a lot to keep our eyes on for this next month to come. Until then, should you have any questions on the markets today, or if you would like to talk about your buying needs, please don't hesitate to reach out. Until next time, thanks and have a wonderful holiday season.